A WWE internal email has leaked regarding the recent releases. Karrion Kross has slammed his own WWE gimmick, and a wrestling legend has announced their retirement from active in-ring competition. Find out who it is in a bit. So this past Thursday, if you didn't already know, where have you been living under a rock? WWE released yet more talent from their roster, cutting 18 people across the main roster and NXT. Now, there's been a lot of speculation as to why the talent were released, but Fightful Select have managed to get hold of some emails, some internal WWE emails that were sent around regarding the releases. Now, just a shocking statistic before we get started. This recent spate of releases has meant that so far in 2021, there have been 71 talents let go, which is just absolutely baffling. But there were two emails sent around. So here we go. Fightful Select were able to gain access to these emails. And one was sent to the main roster talent and another was sent to the NXT and developmental talent. Now, the first one that went to the main roster read, due to budget cuts, the following WWE talent were released today. And then the list of the main roster talent that were gone, November 4th, 2021. Thank you, John Laurinaitis. And now we had the second one, which went to developmental, and that read, due to budgetary cuts with immediate effect, we've come to terms with the following NXT talents. We wish these individuals all the best in their future endeavors. Now, it's also worth noting here that the email that went out featured Oney Lorcan's name, and it was spelled incorrectly. Now, that is... It's very, very, very cold, and it's very like weirdly business-like to just sort of bluntly send an email like that. But I mean, to spell somebody's name wrong,
if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry.
Well, this is it. It's like, what? Like, you're cutting people, you're announcing record profits, and then all of a sudden, budget reasons, see you later.
And it can't just be. You and Adam spoke about it a lot yesterday, Sam, and it baffles the mind how a company can just have so little. I mean, I don't even think tax the right word, but how you can announce better than expected revenue streams in the third quarter, and then an hour and a half later release 18 of your talent roster. And
morale has to be like shockingly low. We've seen reactions from WWE superstars up and down the rosters. Just, really, they can't really air their grievances fully because you know how that would go down with them. But, sending out broken heart emojis and just little kind of comments here and there. I can't quite believe they'd be so callous, but here we are again.
I keep thinking that nothing's going to, something's going to happen that surprises me with WWE, and nothing surprises me anymore. I don't know why we feel so shocked by these actions. They send these very, very blunt emails and these very blunt messages. This is a very cold business, and we've learned that in the last 18 months.
Yeah, and I mean, keeping with the release stars, we go to Karrion Kross, who was released on Thursday, and while on Monday Night Raw his character was being experimented with, we reported yesterday that he was in the middle of a third repackage before he was released. We had him come up from NXT as this unstoppable monster of a talent, and then he's quickly put into BDSM gear and thrown out to do a couple of jobs, which, you can't always carry on that streak running through things, but somebody asked him online about potentially obtaining the helmet from him, and Karrion Kross was very blunt, and he said nobody would want that piece of S, brother. So I mean,
I think it's safe to say this gimmick wasn't Karrion's idea.
Yeah, I feel that maybe he was cool doing what he was doing, and then they went, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna make you a gladiator.
The report that you and Adam reported on yesterday from the Observer, that Vince had said that Karrion couldn't get over. I mean, it just reminded me of that. I think I shared it on social media actually. Just that meme where the guy turns around and shoots someone and then blames him for shooting him.
Yeah, why would you do this?
Yeah, why?
It's. That's the thing. It's like, you can't get over. He was already over. He was over when he arrived, Vince. He was ready to go.
This was a guy
just
in
bring
NXT
him up, bring Scarlett, and give him a title. That's all the people wanted. That's all we needed.
This was a guy in NXT who wasn't your typical NXT guy and still got over. All you need to do is keep doing the same thing with him.
Yeah.
I'll go back to what I said earlier. Nothing shocks me anymore.
No, nothing shocks me, and this following story is definitely not shocking me either. Here in the United Kingdom, we're very lucky that we still have the WWE Network. I love the WWE Network. It's great. You just go on, you search for events you want, they pop up, and you get it.
It's wonderful.
It just works like it used to, and you can also have that experience if you've got a VPN. But if you don't, then unfortunately, if you're in the States, you are stuck on Peacock. And we've been kind of sat here all smug for months now going, our network still works great. Well, yeah, no, that might be ending. WWE President and Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan has said there should be some news soon, and he used the word soon, regarding a new Peacock-style deal for the WWE Network in the United Kingdom. Now, reports have persisted that the promotion were looking for a new streaming partner for the WWE Network rather than hosting it themselves. And there's been this weird little bit of it's been bubbling away, the lawsuit. I don't know if there's been any further development on it, but they were getting taken to court by a streaming.
As part of the third quarter release, we didn't cover it in detail on the website, but as part of the third quarter release, there was this massive document about lawsuits they'd settled, and there was a good 20 or 30 lawsuits on there, so maybe it's been dealt with.
Maybe it's been dealt with, but I know that they were kind of being taken to court over some of the technology they were using and not having the rights to the patent for it and things like that. But the WWE Network is, of course, offered through the Peacock service in the US, but apparently they're kind of having conversations now with partners in the UK. Speaking during the third quarter earnings, he was asked about the expectations for international content, and he said, keep in mind our existing India deal with Sony is an all-encompassing deal that includes premium rights, so that's a deal that's already in place. In the UK, BT, our existing partner, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, there's currently conversations about what the best plan is for the WWE Network in that territory, and we should have some news soon. And I just figure, keep the network. Nobody has BT.
Keep the network.
I don't know anybody that has BT TV. The only people I know that if they've got satellite TV, they have Sky.
Yeah.
Sky is, you were with Sky, and I know Sky probably weren't kicking you the money that maybe they once did, but like Sky is in more homes, I feel. It just feels like, Sky is the big one.
The only people in my local area that I know have BT is the local pub, and I'm not sure they're going to want me in there on a Friday afternoon trying to stream.
Raw, please?
Yeah, I want to watch Vengeance from 2003.
And just to close things off today with a little bit of sad news, but not something that's not. It's not entirely unexpected because the man he's worked a hell of a career. Sabu has announced the end of his in-ring career. He told Wrestling Shoot interviews that he's probably wrestled his final match after his body didn't hold up in about a couple of weeks ago. What did he say, Mitch?
So he said, I'm not doing real good. I hurt my back about a year ago and it's still been hurting. I wrestled a couple of weeks ago, but I shouldn't have. I've only wrestled like twice in the last year. I only went to the gym a couple of times in the last year because I hurt my back. I'm probably not going to wrestle no more. I'm probably just going to do autograph signings and personal appearance type stuff. He did say, however, that if one person could get him back in the ring, it would be Brock Lesnar. He said, I'd definitely get back in the ring for Brock Lesnar. I'd love to wrestle him, especially if it was my final match. He's the best.
I genuinely, it's the end here where he goes, he's the best, he's a shooter, he's a good worker, he's my kind of opponent. And then he says, I like big guys, I like wrestling big guys. I don't like wrestling guys like me because it's not that interesting. It's more interesting when a guy like me against Brock Lesnar. And that's something that resonates with me. I like David versus Goliath matches, and Sabu's not a dumb man. Like, you're gonna pick a big final opponent. Could you imagine if they could somehow make this happen? You're gonna pick a big final opponent. You pick the biggest guy in the industry, right? You go straight for Brock.
It'll be a hell of a match. It's your final match. You're gonna pick the guy that's gonna kill you.
Brock would literally, Sabu would just be like, I'll ragdoll, do whatever.
Do whatever you want with me. That would be incredible.
It's such a shame, but Sabu has had one hell of a career, and the guy, never say never, because I don't know.
The only thing I hope is that he is in a place where he can retire, because I've just looked at, he's 57 next month, and you just think that's to still be performing in ring at that age is incredible. He's had a long, illustrious career across the industry, and I just really hope he doesn't feel in 3 or 4 years' time he's in a position that he has to do it again. I hope he can just enjoy his retirement.
And if he is set to come back, then I hope that he's able to do so after resting up, getting healthy, getting all of that, the issues he's been having with his body sorted out. If he does want to return, then, I just hope he's all right. I hope he's all right. But anyway, that's it for our first news of the day from myself and Mitch. I will catch you all in a bit, me and Mitch again, for news 2 of the day. Stay safe. We'll see you in a bit.